I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Pillar, would you choose in prayer?
I don't know, please bow their heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank and praise you for the opportunity to get together today and represent this fine city. We pray that the work that we do is pleasing to you and works well for those that we represent. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Okay, we are short a couple commissioners, so you guys will be busy. Not too busy though. Reading and approval of minutes from December 20th, please.
Motion to forego the reading and approve as presented.
Okay, motion by Pillar.
Second.
Second by Stern. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Approval of the agenda, please. Any changes or additions, corrections?
Move to approve the agenda.
Motion by Stern.
Second.
Second by Pillar. Discussion. All in favor of this agenda, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. 5A, Engineers Report. Monty, anything on here that,
No, there's nothing new, no action items. They're waiting to hear from Angelo if they're going to do any work in the water treatment plant, but he had told them initially that it would be sometime after the holidays, so.
and no new word up on Expedition Estates?
Nothing as yet.
All right. 6A, we got a permit for the figure skating club. And looks like we have a raffle with some gifts here, so what does the board like to do?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Pillar,
Second.
second by Stern. Discussion. All in favor of this raffle, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Motion passes. 8A, moving permit, Steve Gowan. Mr. Gowan, you are up. Please let us know what your plans are.
The plans were, I needed a building on the other side of this Antelope Creek there because only half of it has been used. And I want to use the whole thing, probably for 6-8 head of steers. That's about all that place, and then you have to move around a little bit. But I needed shelter on the other side over there in case of a hailstorm or if they stayed out late in the fall. So this building came up, and it's not a bad looking building. It's got log cabin siding on 3 sides, and I would finish it with log cabin siding. Yeah, there you see it. And then I'm going to put a little fence there for a windbreak up there. And it's a perfect place to keep a couple dozen bales of hay and some sacks of feed in there. And so that would go. Have you got that, Monty, where it goes over
Yep.
there?
Let me rotate it.
Yeah, this is the canal road. This is here's the canal road right here. And this is some 70 feet off of the canal road, and it would just sit right there with plenty of room around it. And I checked with the power company there, that's MDU, and he said they only require 40 feet right there off the center line. And so I'm going to be beyond that. So I won't get in their space at all. So it gets kind of thin right here, but I'm going to take care of that by just making it. There's trees right here, and I'll make a place so they can get through and get all the way around over here. And then there's already a shed here to take care of that. So that's the gist of it. And I'm going to make sure that it's not going to be an eyesore until I get it prepared for its intended use. So,
Where's your northern fence on your northern boundary then?
the northern boundary, actually, it would come, let's see here, there's a corner post, you might even be able to see it right there. It comes straight over and follows this line. Well, you can't go through the creek, so it comes around over here and then stops right here, and then here's where the fence comes back around here. So that it's just about an even quarter, but you have to move north with the fence to stay away from the creek. So, and it's got used woven wire and 2 barbed wires already there. And boy, I just hesitated to use that. But if you've ever been down to Tractor Supply or Runnings to buy barbed wire, all of a sudden that old fence looks really good. So I'm going to put straight posts in there and make sure that they just can't get out because of the highway right here. So when I fence this property here where that barn sits right here, that's also got to be, the posts I bought are 6.5 foot. So they're going to be closer together than normal because you just can't let your livestock get out if you're that next to a major highway here. So that's the story there. But this all takes time. So, but I need stuff to do.
So what's the main purpose of the building? You
It's
mentioned storage for feed, and you also said shelter for...
Yeah, it's just a windbreak. So I'll just extend the windbreak off the corner there, but it's still going to look good.
So I went over there and I just took some photographs. You've got, I presume you put the stakes in the
Yeah, I
fence
put
there?
the stakes in and through the
Now, do
rim.
those stakes represent that 70, when you say 70 feet, are you talking 70 feet away from that
The center of the road.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah, there you got it, right there.
And unfortunately, I don't have any
Oh, no,
pictures
that's
of
the
the
other
road.
side, isn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have any pictures of the road in there, so you can get the
I could
idea.
have brought one, I guess.
No. I've got one right here,
Okay.
if anybody else wants to see.
Yeah, that's the one looking north.
But that's looking up there, so here.
So then on the, I guess, lot line is on the center of the road then? Is
Yeah.
that where-
Yeah.
Okay.
And go back to that map there. Right about where the, yeah, keep coming down here, I think. Is that it? Yeah, keep coming down. There you go. See, right here, if you looked, it would actually, when it comes down, take a chunk off the ditch here for the road. And that's not going to happen. I'm going to stay well to the east of the road so that they don't have any maintenance problems there. But the property line runs way over to here.
So if you look at that post there, does it
Yeah,
run straight, I guess like south?
yeah, well, no,
Property line?
it's, I tell you, if it wouldn't have been for the city, I wouldn't know that much, but when they wanted to annex that in there, they surveyed it. That's $3,500 worth of surveying for both sides here, and I appreciate it.
So you foresee a half a dozen steers on the west side of the creek, or they'll?
Yeah, just temporary, see, because they can't, they had 3 horses in there on this side here, and they ate that completely up in just a short time. So I'll have this pasture here, this one, and it's just to keep the weeds down and keep the brush down over here. And but I'd like to utilize the ground that's available, and if I fence it correctly, it won't be a problem. So
The only concern that I have when I look at the location of that is in the winter time when the snow, and I know it's predominantly from the northwest.
yeah,
Because I get it
Well, we
right
do
where I
get-
live.
we do get some from the
But
south.
some, when we get that southeast snow, anything that gets relatively close to any kind, whether it's a city highway or somebody's driveway or whatever, the concern I have would be, what if that building, and you talked about putting up like a wall or a fence
Yeah.
or something there?
Yeah.
What do you do with?
Snow that builds up, but from here all the way down to here, they got trees. So actually the trees are closer to the road than any structure that I might put up there. And not only that, if it is to be a problem, I'll move it. You know, this piece of property right here on this corner is just as high right here as this is here. So it's no problem to, if it turns out to be offensive to anybody or a snow problem, I'll just move it. Because I can't use it either.
How about, so you would fence it in such a way that it would prevent them from going on the big part on the inside?
No,
No.
well.
So eventually they could basically go
Yeah,
anywhere in there.
But if you had to move them in here, you'd run them out on the road through a gate here and down here and on a gate back in there. They can't
Not gonna
just
go
willy-nilly
across
cross
the
the creek there.
Other than the winter.
Yeah, in the winter,
It's
but then you've got to move somewhere else because they can't live out there anyway, you know.
Right.
So it's just for late fall and early spring that, you know how we get some of these early spring snowstorms.
Yeah, and I hear you about the trees. I've driven on that road many times, and I've got stuck on that road in the winter time
Because
as
of
well.
the trees.
And it likely is because of the trees there, but going in just about to that curve there, boy, I've sunk it deep.
Now, you know that in order to build a fence through here, I'm going to have to get rid of the trees. But I have to ask people first before
Sure.
I do that. You can't just go chopping down trees, you know. So, and then there's a big bunch of trees here. And if you try to, you can see where the highway right-of-way is here. So here's another thing. If you fence around here, you're getting on DOT property, see? But they already have a fence there, around there, but just because there's one there doesn't mean that you can continue the practice, so. But before I do anything, because it's all work, you know, I check it out so that I don't have to do it twice.
Sure.
Well, Ford, I've had one citizen who lives to the southeast, on the other side of the highway actually, had a concern about smell and just the cattle and cleaning up and
Yeah, well,
the normal smell that comes with cattle.
well, right, but the thing of it is, you're talking about a massive amount of critters, and I'm sure they wouldn't smell any more than 3 horses.
I don't know, my grandson was home this weekend, and he's just one little guy, and there was plenty of smell there. So.
Well, it's just a concern I have from, and that person said, well, the wind comes out of the northwest. And that smell will be blowing straight towards their homes. And I said, I don't know how many cattle. This is the first time I've heard you say 8 to 12.
It'll never be more than that.
That is a concern of a community member, so.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, it is a concern. Suppose you put 50 hogs in there, that'd be a whole different story, you know.
Turkeys, yeah. So the building's located out on a rural property right now. Steve, are you gonna do work to it before you bring it in, or?
It's up by
what's
the
your-
lake and it's loaded on a trailer already. We just haven't moved it, you know,
Thank you.
so.
So my understanding, just from our notes, is that to move forward, we have to do a public hearing.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry, when I researched it more last Thursday, there is a requirement that we publish a notice once in the paper for public
but
hearing.
it's all right, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
that's fine.
So my proposal is to do that public hearing on the 20th, or 17th, excuse me, of this month. And then the board would be able to
What
take
if I'm
action
in
on the
Arizona?
permit. You don't need to be there.
You'll be in a better place.
Okay,
So, I guess if the board's okay with that, we'll just publish the notice of hearing for the 17th, and then we'll go forward from there.
Okay,
Had you thought of maybe alternative locations for that building to maybe prevent any concerns that there might be with snow?
well, as I said here, but this, and it doesn't hurt anything. Over here is a high point here that's just as high right here as it is over there. And so if you wanted to get away from that road, you could put that shelter right here. And that's fine too. It's just that that's got a road right up to it, and this road from here back over there, that's smooth, so you don't even have a ditch there. It's just a, but this isn't that bad. You're talking a couple loads of dirt here to bring this up to level so a guy can just pull out. But you're talking about livestock here. They don't need to drive in and out of there. They can walk in and out of there. So.
Okay, so we'll put on to the next meeting of the 17th for the hearing, that'd be fine.
What we can do here is put site number 1 and site number 2 up there for anybody that wants to look at it.
Okay.
And that's easy to do, don't you think? Yeah. Or site number 3.
Well, my concern on site 2 would be to, make that snow pile up on that road then, on that intersection there, if we move that in
Yeah.
that direction.
With the northwest
Yeah.
wind, yeah.
Pat?
Mr. President, the thing is, I believe this is just for a moving permit and not for the location of the building for the city. This is all zoned agricultural, as I
Correct.
recall. I think you could build a building anywhere on the property if you wanted to, unless there's some prohibition against that. But this is for the moving permit to get the building onto the property.
But I don't think they can give a moving permit until they have a place to put it.
With what?
They could issue a building permit or moving permit unless they had a place to put it. So once we decide where to put it, then they can have another discussion on how to, for a moving permit, So
Yeah.
this is all fine.
I like Steve's approach.
It's just,
It makes sense, because if something were to come up after it's already moved on there, like he said earlier, it's best to do these projects one time.
Yeah,
yeah, I think he's offering more than
Right.
any other citizen offers when they put up a structure on their property. So, but that's for the public hearing and planning and zoning, and you guys later. Should we start?
All right, any other questions for Mr. Gallen? All right, thank you, Steve.
good, thank you. It's kind of a complicated matter, because there's more than one issue, see, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, unless you want to be a cattle rancher now.
Oh, can you imagine?
Cow baron.
Have to get a cow?
A different hat.
Start watching Yellowstone. All right, down to reports, 9A, water sewer.
Nothing at this time.
All right. Streets, Monty, have you heard anything?
Dave just called this afternoon and said if there's the only thing he really had to report is that they were windrow and snow again today. They'll be picking it up tomorrow, and then just kind of going from there.
In the movement of the sweeper,
They had talked about having it here last week, but then that didn't materialize with the weather and everything, so. Yeah, nothing definite yet.
so it'll get here when it gets here.
Yeah, basically, unfortunately, yeah.
All right, finance, busing.
Anything.
Okay. Nancy's not here for police, fire. Monty, anything?
Nothing on that front.
What's the latest on the other police vehicle that you're not using?
There were still some questions because there was apparently some valve problems with that 2016, so they were talking about trying to take some of the parts out of the 2015 if it could be done to make it more cost effective, but haven't really heard anything more from Hazen Motors on what the best plan is. So for right now, we're just gonna hang on to it. I know there's been interest in it, so I think it'll be no problem if it's still running when we're ready to get rid of it.
Thank you. 9E, HCD, Buster.
Pass today.
You passed. All right, under mine, I noticed that Monty put some notes on here about, I just want to talk about the condemnation on the 104 4th Street Northeast. That, I do have some concern about the intention of that property, and hopefully she does come to that meeting, Monty, that you talked to her today. No, that was last week.
No,
You
it's
talked to her.
last week.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see what her plan is, I guess.
Well, and I think when I get the chance to visit with her again, it'll be a matter of getting her together with our building inspector so he can explain what it needs to be done to bring it up to
Expectations.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Moving on. 10A. Dakota Pump and Control. We have annual inspection for lift stations.
Same agreement as previous years. It wasn't even a change in pricing, which was a little surprising. We include the main lift station number 1, and then it's for the $560 inspection fee, and then $200 for the stations after that. So they listed 2 and 4, which there have been issues with in the past. It's not that specific. I mean, if all of a sudden we're having issues with 3 and we haven't done 2, they can look at 3 for that same cost.
Okay. Here we need a motion to accept this agreement.
So moved.
Motion by Pillar,
Second.
second by Stern. Discussion. Need a roll call?
Yeah.
Roll call.
Pillar.
Aye.
Stern.
Aye.
Omenauer.
Aye, motion carried. Thank you. All right, and then that brings us down to new business. Designate bank depository.
As indicated in the notes, we use Bank of North Dakota, Union State Bank, Union Bank, and Capital Credit Union Knife River Branch as our depositories. Basically need a motion to continue using them. This needs to be done every even numbered year that we designate the depositories.
Move to approve.
Approval motion by Stern,
I'll second that.
second by Pillar. Discussion. Roll call.
Stern.
Aye.
Pillar.
Aye.
Omenauer.
Aye, motion carried. Approval of bills.
Need a few on your desk from today.
Move to approve the bills.
Motion by Stern,
Second that.
second by Pillar. Discussion. Roll call.
Stern.
Aye.
Pillar.
Aye.
Omenauer.
Aye, motion carried. Meeting adjourned.